Hello and welcome to Ustream. As always, technical blah blahs. So anyway, how are you? My name is Kathleen. Some call me Sister Kathy. I want to thank you for joining me today on my channel, which is New You on Ustream. This session we will be talking about breaking the invisible chains. This will be about a 30-minute session, but it's going to be a powerful 30-minute session. So you gotta stay tuned. If you're ready for a transformation, if you're ready for a new you, then you're ready for breaking the invisible chains. Now, this is specifically going to be of good use to those who are struggling with letting go of your past. So, if you have issues, and I'm talking about real issues, this is not going to be, this is a real, I really want to help you. So, these are real issues that I hear about every day. So if you're struggling with getting over a past relationship, getting past sexual abuse, verbal abuse, anything that was traumatic in your past, or anything that's just not a good memory that seems to bring you down, depress you, there are ways to get past your past. Because what you don't want to do is have your past life in your present world. So we're going to talk about breaking free from those invisible chains. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is understanding the difference between your brain, which is a function, which is an organ, and your mind, okay, which is your thought pattern, your consciousness, and those are things that you are able to control, okay. If you think about the brain in actuality, it's an organ. So, what the brain does, it has a function. Just as your heart has a function, your lungs have a function, your brain has a function. The function of your brain is to receive information and to process that information. But there's a big difference, and I'm going to clearly show you the big difference, okay? So, in terms of our brain, I'm just going to show you a picture right quick of what your brain looks like so I can explain a few things to you, okay? So, I'm going to bring this up close so you can see it. And I hope this works. It probably won't. No, it won't. Because this thing is way too bright. New technology. Won't work at all. It worked the last time. Well, probably because I was on my laptop. But the brain has, you can just go to brainchannels.com. The brain has um, different parts to it, but the part I want to talk about is the frontal lobe. I wish you could see this picture. But the frontal lobe is a large mass, large piece of your brain that's right here in the front. If I was turned to the side, it would take up about this much space in my head. Your frontal lobe is responsible for your self control, your planning, your reasoning, and your abstract thought. Okay? So it's responsible for your control. Sorry about that. Your reasoning, your planning, and your visioning. That's the word I want to use, visioning. So your control, self-control, your reasoning, your planning, and your visioning. Now just think about those words in itself. Because how can you effectively manage your present world if you have no self-control, if your reasoning is off, if you're unable to plan effectively, and if you don't have a vision for your life? And all of these things can definitely be affected by the things of your past. Okay. So we'll go right into having this discussion. So the brain works in one way, and the way the brain works is it processes information. The frontal lobe, responsible for all the things that I'm telling you about, works, and all of the other parts of the brain work in such a way that when it receives information, it has to process that information. So that's where I want to stop you at, because I'm going to be talking to you about setting filters in place so that when you do receive information or your brain is collecting information, you will be able to filter that information. Okay? All right. I'm going to stop you right there before I get a little ahead of myself. So, what I'm holding right here is a watch. From a scientific perspective, a your brain is much like a watch. It's made to function, to process information. So, on the inside of a watch, which I can't show you, on the inside of a watch, um, these days it's a lot different, because if you open the back of this watch, it's got this tiny little black box, and we don't know what's in that box. It's probably all electronic stuff or whatever. But originally, a watch had many dials on the inside. Okay, and each dial would cause the other dial to spin. So you have one dial spinning, which is connected to the other dial spinning. Okay, I don't want to make you get woozy here, which is connected to another dial spinning, and they all spin, they all go into motion, processing time. Okay, time is relevant because we're talking about your time, your past, your present, your future. Okay, so it's all processing time. The big difference is we're not a machine, we're not a watch. We're human beings. So we have the ability, and especially through Christ, to control the information that's processed. This watch is only going to process time. As the time is processed, 1 second leads to 2 seconds, leads to 30 seconds, which leads to a minute. 1 minute is going to process another minute, 30 minutes, it's an hour. Those hours are going to process, guess what? It's a day. After those days process, it's a week. So you see how a watch functions, processing information, working those dials, spending that time out to deliver an expected result. After it's 12:30, I know the next minute is going to be 12:31, and so on and so forth. But your mind is different because you're in control of your mind. You are in control of the way you think. Now, there are a lot of things that will impact the way you think. So that's where these strategies and practices and awareness come in. Okay? Because unlike the watch, we have to process the information, but our job is to process it through a filter. Okay? So just imagine I've talked to several women, and I've talked with several men. I speak with several young people, and I'm very particular about my women and young ladies. That's just my heart, it's my passion. So, what I hear from them, even recently, is that um, they're unable to move on with their life. And a lot of the problem is a lot of them have been sexually violated, they've been emotionally violated, they've been physically violated, they've had some form of trauma or disappointment or something negative impact their life. and they processed that information, okay, and it yielded a bad result, a result that will not help you in your present life, okay? So if you, let's just say that 5 years ago, you were in a terrible relationship. You thought it was a good relationship. It started off well. But then, slowly things started to change. Or maybe quickly things started to change. And so you have this guy that you were in love with and who you thought was in love with you. And all of a sudden, things become, you know, not so good. So he may have been calling you names. He may have been, degrading to you. He may have did some physical harm to you, abused you in some way. It could have all been verbal. He could have cheated on you and just broke the trust and the loyalty in the relationship. Several things could have taken place. A lot of women, and this is just not for women because this is for men too, but a lot of people take on the nature of the sayer. A lot of people take on the nature of the abuser. A lot of people adopt the idea of the person who cause harm to them. They adopt it. If you've been mentally or emotionally or verbally torn down, some people begin to uh, fulfill the words that are spoken by the abuser. So women begin to feel captive. They begin to feel like they can't go on. They begin to feel like, they are, I must be sorry. I must not be a good mother. I must not be a good woman. I must not. Obviously, something is wrong with me. And so, how is that? Is it because of what that person said? Is because of the actions that that person had taken? Uh, Whatever the reason is, obviously there's been a wrong process of information. Okay. So here's where you want to set the filters up at. And it doesn't matter if you've already experienced some things like this and you've kind of been setting in this state for a while, like, um, you know, say you came out of an abusive relationship and you still feel like, I'm stupid or I'm dumb or I must have done something wrong or nobody ever's going to love me again. No, or no guy will ever respect me. Because maybe you kind of ran around when you were young, or whatever the situation is, you have to get a new perception of yourself, a new idea about yourself, a new identity. And so, what you want to do is you want to put that blocker up and put that filter up and learn more about who you are. Okay? You want to take control of that situation. You want to take control. Okay? So, what is it all about? Control, reasoning, planning, visioning. If you don't believe you're any good, if you don't believe you have any worth, if you believe you're stupid, if you believe you're dumb, which are all not true, how will you be able to effectively plan for your life? How will you be able to control your life? Because whatever you think about yourself, the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. You really can't get around that. So, however you think about yourself or feel about yourself, and a lot of times we get that word feel, we substitute it for think. And you really should say, this is how I think about myself. Say it to yourself. Let's just say you believe in something that's not true. Like you believe you're dumb or you believe you're stupid. God forbid. That's not even, those are words that I don't even use in my vocabulary because they're trash. They're no good. But let's just say if you're thinking, I'm no good, I have no value, then don't say that's the way you feel. say that's the way I think. Okay. So at this point, I would have you get a mirror. I would have you look into that mirror. This is my cell phone. I pretend it's a mirror. But I would have you look into that mirror and I would have you voice that. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why. I know power of life and death is in the tongue, but I'm going to teach you a quick strategy to help you change the way you think about yourself. Because, see, the first thing you have to be is honest. Okay? You have to be honest with yourself. That's why when you go to AA, they say, hey, Tom, my name is Tom and I'm alcoholic. Because if they can bring you to a place to say who you are and what you are, then they can work on tearing that down and rebuilding the real you. Okay? Because nobody's an alcoholic. That's a disease. That's a you know, a spirit. You're not an alcoholic. It's a spirit. So once you get control over that spirit, okay, after you go to AA, sobriety, God deliver you, whatever, you're no longer an alcoholic. So it's just a title you give people, of course, who overdrink. So back to what I was saying. Grab that mirror and look in that mirror, and I want you to look in that mirror, and I want you to say, I have no value. I even hate to say it. It's just like, not good. But I want you to do it because I want you to be real with yourself. Now, if you think about your and think about it, that's a thought. It's not I feel like I have no value. So what you're saying is I think I have no value. You got that? If you say I feel like I have no value, what you're saying is I think I have no value. If you say I just feel stupid, then you're saying I think I'm stupid. You see how real it becomes when you say it, when you look in the mirror, when you straight up got to deal with it? But that's not the way you're supposed to think about yourself. So then the next thing I want you to do, let me put the phone down, is to get you a sheet of paper. And I want you on that sheet of paper, I want you to list 10 things about yourself that are great, that are good. And look, use your imagination. Because if you don't think you're a good mom, I don't want you to put on there that I'm not a good mom. I want you to put something good. So you'll put your expectation, who you really are. Okay. So you'll say, I am a good mother. Okay. Maybe that's a projection. Maybe that's what you want to be. Maybe you're not such a good mother right now. Okay. But we definitely want to get that mindset changed because when you get that mindset changed, your life is going to change. Okay. If you as a woman can say, uh, I'm worthy of love again, or I'm worthy of love, I'm worthy of a loyal relationship. If you can start thinking that way, you can attract that way. You get me? So it's all about that mind. It's all about how you think. It's all about how you see yourself. So we're going to bring you to that place. So I want you to get you a nice, clean sheet of paper. Okay. And I want you to take that nice, clean sheet of paper. So here we go. This will be a nice, clean sheet of paper. On this paper, I want you to list, just starting off, 10 things. 10 things that are good about you. 10 real thoughts about you. I am smart. I am intelligent. I am bright. I do have a future. 10 things. I will own a business. It doesn't matter. List those 10 things on here. Okay. So just hold on to that list. We're going to do something with it later. Just hold on to it. Okay. So you say, how can I apply this technique to the deep stuff? I'm going to go over some deep stuff. And then we're going to get back to the list. And speaking with a lady, an older lady one time, and I asked her, I said, why is it that you haven't moved on to enjoy your life with another mate? Why haven't you moved on, remarried, whatever? And she told me, she said, I think about my ex every night. Now, I've heard that from older women a lot. Now, some of those older women are very content because they're older and they don't want to get married again. They had a great husband, a great experience, or they had a terrible experience whatsoever. But they have decided that, you know what, being single is not so bad. I'm an older woman. That's pretty much what I want to do. Other times you have people who simply um, did not get over that past relationship. And it's almost like haunting them. It's like a torment. It's like a evil presence that has came to sit in their mind and not allow them to grow past, as PASS, past their past. Okay? Don't ever think that's not God's intention whatsoever for your life. Not so ever. So what we want to talk about is, I've had women, and I've experienced it myself. If you were victimized sexually, growing up, or raped, or molested, or incest, whatever you had going on, whatever happened, then if you were abused, I mean like physically abused, especially by a parent or someone you love, you're going to be able, perhaps, not all people, because not all people are struggling, but you will be able to identify with this. There are some times, especially when things are rough for you, that those thoughts seem to overwhelm you. I mean, seriously, it's like no matter what you do, they are in your brain. Sometimes it's like live video. And it's like you can't move past it. You can't get over it. How do you get over it? First of all, I would want you to go back to that mirror technique, okay? Because there is some truism in facing your fears, in facing that enemy, in facing that thing that seems to come against you. There's some truism. You need to confront it, okay? So the mirror is instrumental because you're looking right at you, okay? And in looking right at you, you can clearly see the problem because clearly the problem isn't you, right? So when you look in that mirror, I want you to say, and as much as you can remember, I was whatever. Put a time to it if you want to. I was molested in 1973. I was molested in 1994. I was molested last night. Okay? I was physically abused in 2007. I was verbally attacked in 1996. Try to put a time to it, try to put a frame around it, or whatever you need to do. But then I want you to say to yourself, but I am not being attacked now. And I bind the thoughts from my mind. Okay? Okay? I'm gonna hold those thoughts captive. Okay? Because the Bible said we can bring into subjection everything that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. Okay? So we can bring it into captivity. We can catch those thoughts. Okay? We can catch them, hold them, and then we can tell them where to go. Okay? Because see, you gotta learn how to block things out that don't need to be in your life right now. You got to learn how to block them out. You have to take control. You have to block them out. You have to tell them you have no place here. You have to do that. Okay? So then what's the catch? What's really going to help you? The Bible says if it has any virtue, if it has any praise, it said think on these things. Things that are lovely, things that are pure, things that have a good report. If they have any virtue, if they have any praise, think on these things. Here's your list of 10 things. I am the head and not the tail. I'm a great mother. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Okay? All things are possible through Christ which strengthens me. I can be a good mother. I am a great mother. I am a great wife. I can love again. Look, things that are lovely. Because if you're going to get rid of that negative thought, that ungodly thought, that evil thought, whatever it is from your past, if you're going to get rid of it, you're going to need something to replace it. You're going to need something to minister, to feed into your spirit. Okay? So these were the basics tonight. I'm not going to go into much detail. I don't want you to lose your place because this is too powerful for you not to get. Okay? And I'm going to ask you not to get so much into doing any of those lessons until you hear my second session, which is coming up. And the second session will deal with control. Okay? And control is derailing the train of uninvited thoughts. We are going to derail that train of uninvited thoughts. Those thoughts that keep you up at night. Those thoughts that torment your mind. Those thoughts that it seems like they on repeat. Oh, he did me like this. He did me like that. Oh, they did me like this. And, oh, this happened to me. It happened to me. It's real. It's real. It's real. I know it happened. I know it's real, but it doesn't belong in your present world. You can have power, okay, over those things from the past. You can have power. He said, behold, I give unto you power to tread over serpents and scorpions too, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means harm you. But it's too many of us walking around here powerless because we simply do not know that there is a technique, there is a strategy. And even though it's in the Bible, and even though you've heard it, you've never heard of the strategies to get it done. And so that's what I'm bringing to you. The strategies, the technique, the understanding, so you can walk in power in your life. Okay? So we will be derailing the train of uninvited thoughts. This is your control. Okay? Because we already know we gotta stop it. We gotta put that filter up. Okay? So if you've ever been awakened in the middle of the night by fear, the past, your experiences, you're going to have power over those things. You're going to have power. You're going to gain power. I definitely want to thank you for joining me tonight. I went over this again, so we do understand the difference in the brain, which is just an organ. It's just an organ. It's just going to process information, just like that watch. It's just an organ. It has a job to do to process information. What we're going to do, we're going to gain control over our own lives, over our own destiny. And we're going to feed that brain the correct information by blocking out the things that we don't need in our present life. So when those wheels are spinning, when that brain is processing information, it won't process the trash anymore. It's gonna kick that junk out. It's not even gonna let it in. We're gonna get so strong, so powerful that we're gonna be able to stop a thought. It sounds amazing, doesn't it? It's true. It's really true. You can do it. Okay? So we learned that we're not the brain and the mind are two different things, okay? Your mind is your consciousness. It's the thoughts that you built up about yourself. It's the way you think and believe about yourself, okay? So that's your mind. Your brain is just an organ, but we want to fine tune that brain. We want to make it work for us, okay? So we can let this mind be in us that was also in Christ Jesus, okay? So just want you to know that you can be a new person. It's not about suppressing it. Because God is all about transforming our lives, and this is where we see the real power at. This is what the real power is all about: transforming our lives. It's not about pretending that it never happened. It's about facing it and knowing how to face it and knowing that you can be victorious. Okay, we're saying yes, it did happen, It happened. That's got an ED on the end. It happened when? In the past, a year ago, whenever it happened. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm saying you deserve to move on in your life. I'm saying you deserve to have joy. I'm saying you deserve to have peace. And let me tell you something. I deserve it. You deserve it. And you're going to get it because you're going to walk in power. Okay? Faith is. Okay? So you're going to have to put some faith in this. You're going to have to believe that these strategies and principles and technique work. So faith is. That's what the Bible says. Faith is the substance of hope, things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You might not be able to see this yet, but it's coming. Okay? But faith is. So that's not last year. It's not 20 years ago. It's not 50 years ago. Now faith is. You are coming to your hour of power. You're going to walk in divine strength like you've never did before. You're going to have so much victory in your life that you're going to tell somebody else about it. Okay? So you are, if you follow this through, you're going to experience victory in your life like never before. I believe when you begin to see the changes, as you get in that mirror, confront those issues, and just deal with self first. We're just dealing with self. Okay? This ain't about packing a car and going somewhere to see somebody. This is about dealing with self. Okay? Dealing with self. If you follow these principles, I believe you're going to begin to see some changes and you're going to gravitate towards that power. Okay? I want you to come back next Sunday. Next Sunday will be 8 p.m. I start, so 8 p.m. for next Sunday. I'll post it up. 8 p.m. for next Sunday. I'm recording these so you'll be able to go back and look at them. So again, tonight, difference in the mind and the brain. You're going to have power, okay? Because it's with the mind, okay, that we serve God. I wonder why he didn't say it's with the brain that we serve God. You know why? Because he knew that this life, sometimes it throws you the worst ever. And he knew some of us were gonna go through some things that, hey, we don't even want to tell nobody. He knew some of us were gonna go through some things that were so dramatic, so traumatic, that tore us down so bad that he knew that we were gonna need him to transform our minds. Okay? He said, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. New thoughts. New thoughts. Not thoughts from the past tormenting you. New thoughts. It's not what goes in a man's mouth that defile him, but it's what comes out of the man's mouth that defiles him. So it's not what goes in so much, because anything can happen to you in life. Anything can happen. 1 in 3 women are molested. 1 in 5 men are molested. Domestic abuse is still high, still very prevalent. Still murdering women, women murdering men is still high. It's not what goes in, it's what you allow in, how you process that information. Okay? So just want to make you aware of that. So next time, join me. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate the views. Spread the word about new you because I want you to be a new you. That's what it's all about. This series is called Breaking the Invisible Chains, and this is part 1 of the series. I try to keep them around 30 minutes because I do know that this is ad sponsored, so you have a lot of ads. So I want you to kind of come back and be able to watch it. So it probably consume an hour of your time. But let me tell you, the power you're going to receive from this is worth your hour. I promise you, your life is going to change. You're going to be able to operate in a new dimension. Your faith is going to increase because you're going to see God bless you through this. That's the number one thing. I'm a believer. I follow the things of Christ. I'm not out here just doing something on my own. God really laid this on my heart. He really laid it on my heart. Okay? So I want you to know what's most important to me before I close out. It's important to me that you find a place where you can learn about the one who has influenced my life the most, and that's Jesus. Okay? Find a good church home. I know that's old school talk, but really find a good, strong church. Okay? Because even statistically, even the data suggests or says that protection against mortality provided by religion cannot be entirely explained by expected factors that include enhanced social support of friends and family, lifestyle choices, reduced smoking, and alcohol consumption. Okay? So if you are living a life after God, then you have more of a support system. Your lifestyle choices seem to be a lot better. Less smoking, less drinking, and we all know that. So, I come from a real place, real experiences, but I want to help you become an overcomer. My name is Sister Kathy. Thank you for joining me. Join me next Sunday, please, at 8 p.m., where we'll begin to talk about control. All right? God bless you. I love you. Bye bye.